structures within relationships, and then when you start thinking, human species type level stuff, which, honestly, a lot of people are, people are challenging the notion of gender, and they're challenging the notion of race, and there's so much being challenged, and then you're looking at these problems, and then you have violence, and you deconstruct, and you're like, it feels like a pit that you just that we can't get out of. Right? Like, I know this feeling. I've been in this feeling. I'm probably in this feeling more often than I like to admit, where you feel so overwhelmed and you feel so bogged down with the systemic problems, the relational problems, and you're like, I'm tired of seeing divorce all the time. I'm tired of seeing people not value each other. I'm tired of church hurt. I'm tired of all these things that I hate that have happened to me, and I hate that they've happened to people that I love and care about, and I feel powerless to do anything about it. And so that is all there. And so I don't know if it's balance, because I kind of don't like that word, but I feel like there's two things I'm always holding in my hand. It's urgency and delight. And so I care about the urgency. I want to hear people's pain. I think the most important thing we can do is to answer your original, because you kind of asked like 5 questions in a long way, which was, like, how do we, in our own way, like, begin to heal this, fix this, like, wrestle with these problems. And I think the biggest thing is to acknowledge and see. I can't always have power to change someone's situation, but the most important thing I've learned to do is to put myself in someone else's situation and to actually not just empathize for a minute, but actually imagine or reimagine. I think you do this really well, Michael, to reimagine what would it feel like to be in this woman's position? What would it feel like to be in a transgender person's situation? What would it feel like to live in poverty in such a way that I can't right now imagine? What would it feel like to live on the streets of Calcutta? Like, when you start really imagining life outside of your grid, then I think that's when you really begin to see people. And so, we wrote that song Free, and there's a line in there, when we see our brother, we'll all be free. And I think ultimately the pain that we all feel from one another is, I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard. And so what I try to do personally is to relate to people and try to see how they see. Whether I fully agree, I mean, it's not even about agreement, such a trite word to me these days, but I do believe it's important to see people, to acknowledge their pain. I've sat with people at times when and just have watched them weep, when I've just described back to them a reality that I've never lived through, but I'm acknowledging, just because I'm putting myself in that situation, I'm acknowledging what they've gone through and how it's impacted every part of their life. And it actually caused me to see people differently, because now I'm not seeing you as an issue, I'm not seeing you as a hurt person, I'm seeing you as someone that's dealing with the fallout of suffering in your life. And I feel, so when I look at humanity, I'm like, we're all just dealing with the fallout of suffering in each other's lives. And if we would see our brother, if we would actually see people in their pain, acknowledge it, call it what it is, don't minimize it, don't trivialize it, don't dismiss it, but actually call it forward, I think that's what allows people to be healed. The other thing I have in the hand is delight. And I think delight is, Richard Rohr, who you've had on this podcast, has talked about how the brain, it's harder for the brain to grab a hold to positive things versus negative things. It's easier for us to gravitate towards the sadistic, the sad, the negative. But more importantly, when you have a positive memory, he was like, it takes a minimum of 15 seconds. You have to like gaze into it and see it. And so I think there's so much in our world that is worth delighting in, and even about each other, there's so much to delight in. Like, part of the reason why I love spending time with you and your family is because I see so much delight that you guys have in each other as a family, the way you and Lisa carry yourselves and the way you interact with each other, the way you interact with your children. We were out for dinner tonight watching the way Lisa looks at you with your daughters. That's delight. Like, there was a delight in her face and her eyes, and there was delight with you, with your children. And I think Tom was there. Like, we were just kind of watching it, and we were just being, but that's delight. And so learning to savor those moments and to carry both things, intention, suffering, and delight, because there is so much to be thankful for, and there's so much in this moment. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Who knows what pain tomorrow will bring? Whatever happens, happens. But I know that in this moment I can take delight. In this moment I can see the good. In this moment I can treasure beauty or treasure difference in someone else that makes me laugh or causes joy in my heart. And so I think ultimately, bring it full circle back to Jesus, right? I think he was a man of great joy and he was a man of great burden. Like, it was both. And I think that's what it means to be fully alive, is to be people who engage with the suffering in a deep way, in a very intentional way, as well as to be people who also take note of the joy and the delight that exists in the world, that exists in each other, and to find way. That's how we build bridges, is to find the joy, the common joy that we all have, the way we see and feel about each other. And that's why I love music, because music, nothing brings people together, like music and joy and dancing and like fellowship or whatever that is. The Spirit moves in that, and where two or three are gathered, there I am. And Jesus is there, and Jesus being the substitute, Christ being the substitute of all things, like he is there when we are together in love and unity. And we don't agree. No one agrees about anything. Throw that out the window. But yeah, love, delight, suffering. I think it's the bitter and the sweet, and that's what makes life life.
We'll come back to William and my conversation in a bit when we get into some more abstract philosophy about suffering and attachment. But in talking about this idea of urgency and delight, here's a story that